The largest war in world history, often referred to as World War II, was a global conflict that spanned from 1939 to 1945, involving the majority of the world's nations grouped into two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. This war reshaped global politics, economies, and societal norms, leaving lasting impacts that continue to influence the modern world. The significance of understanding World War II lies in grasping how it fundamentally altered international relations and societal structures. Not only did it lead to the creation of the United Nations and a redefined global order, but it also set the stage for the Cold War, delineating ideological boundaries between the capitalist West and the communist East. Two specific examples illustrate the magnitude and influence of World War II. Firstly, the Battle of Stalingrad, which was one of the deadliest battles in history, marked a significant turning point in favor of the Allies. The Soviet victory solidified the USSR as a superpower, directly influencing the geopolitical climate of the 20th century. Secondly, the use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States introduced nuclear warfare to the world, highlighting both the destructive potential of scientific advancements and initiating an arms race that would dominate international relations for decades. Support for the study of World War II's impact often emphasizes the war's role in advancing technological innovation and promoting social change, such as the movement for civil rights spurred by minority contributions to the war effort. However, differing opinions and controversies revolve around the ethical implications of decisions made during the war, such as the justification of atomic bombings and the moral dilemmas surrounding warfare strategies. The challenges inherent to this topic include reconciling the differing historical narratives presented by various countries, as well as addressing the long-term consequences of wartime decisions. Alternative viewpoints often focus on the perspectives of non-dominant countries affected by the war, who may see the conflict's history through a lens of colonialism and oppression. Understanding World War II is crucial, not just for its direct historical impact, but also for its ongoing influence on modern geopolitics, economics, and social structures. Its legacy affects current international relations, defense policies, and the perception of war in contemporary society, serving as a backdrop for examining the potential consequences of future global conflicts. The largest war in world history, known as World War II, was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945, involving most of the world's nations. It is sometimes referred to as the deadliest conflict in human history due to its immense scope and impact. The war's significance lies in its transformative effects on global political structures, the economy, social norms, and technological advancements. It shaped the contemporary world, leading to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers and the establishment of the United Nations, aimed at preventing such devastating conflicts in the future. World War II's importance is further underscored by its impact on decolonization. Following the war, weakened European powers found it increasingly difficult to maintain their colonial empires. This led to the acceleration of independence movements across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, fundamentally altering global power dynamics. Technologically, the war spurred significant innovations such as radar, jet engines, and notably nuclear weapons, which have had lasting effects on warfare and international relations. Examples of World War II's impact include the Marshall Plan, a U.S.-initiated program to rebuild war-torn Europe, which helped prevent the spread of communism and foster economic growth. Another example is the Nuremberg trials, where key Nazi leaders were prosecuted, setting a precedent for international law and accountability for war crimes. Supporters of the view that World War II was a pivotal event in history often cite its role in ending the Great Depression through economic mobilization. Additionally, the war led to advancements in civil rights, as marginalized groups, such as African Americans, began to demand equal rights after contributing significantly to the war effort. However, controversies exist, particularly regarding the use of atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which killed thousands of civilians and raised ethical questions about such weapons' necessity and morality. Some argue that the decision to use the bombs was more a political maneuver to assert U.S. dominance post-war, rather than a purely military necessity. The largest war in history is intricately connected with other aspects of global history. For instance, it directly influenced the Cold War's emergence, as ideological tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union grew. Moreover, the lessons and experiences from World War II continue to affect current geopolitical strategies and peacekeeping efforts. Understanding World War II's complexities and consequences allows us to appreciate its profound impact and the ongoing influence it has on global affairs today. The causes and background of the conflict refers to the myriad factors that led to and laid the groundwork for what is often considered the largest war in world history, World War II. Understanding these causes and background details is crucial because they not only explain why the conflict erupted, but also reveal the lessons from history that are important for preventing future wars. At the heart of this discussion is the Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, which ended World War I. The treaty imposed harsh penalties and reparations on Germany, leaving it in economic ruins and fueling a sense of national humiliation. This created fertile ground for the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party, who capitalized on public discontent to promote an aggressive, expansionist agenda, promising national rejuvenation and the restoration of German pride. Another significant factor was the failure of the League of Nations, an international organization aimed at maintaining peace. Its inability to prevent aggression by expansionist countries like Japan in Manchuria, Italy in Ethiopia, and Germany in Europe highlighted its weaknesses and emboldened dictators. Additionally, the global economic depression of the 1930s exacerbated domestic instability, increasing tensions between nations over trade and resources. Examples of the causes in action include Germany's invasion of Poland in 1939, a direct result of the aggressive militarism fostered by Nazi ideology and a catalyst for the war, and Japan's expansion in Asia, driven by desires for resources and empire building. These events illustrate how unchecked ambition and unresolved grievances can escalate into full-scale warfare. Opinions supporting this focus on causes emphasize that understanding the root factors of major conflicts helps in crafting policies for international diplomacy and security, aiming to address grievances before they catalyze into war. However, challenges arise from differing interpretations of these causes. Some argue the war could have been avoided through stronger treaty enforcement or economic cooperation, while others point to the inevitability of conflict given the political climate of the 1930s. This point is interconnected with other aspects of World War II, such as the political alignments and the development of military technology, as these were both influenced by and contributors to the unfolding of the conflict. By examining the causes and background, we gain insight into the complex interplay of historical forces that lead to war, which is essential for fostering a lasting peace. The heading appears to introduce the concept of global conflicts, specifically focusing on the largest war in world history. In this context, it typically refers to World War II, a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945, involving most of the world's nations. World War II is often described as the deadliest and most widespread war in history, characterized by significant events like the Holocaust and the use of nuclear weapons. The war reshaped international alliances and power dynamics, leading to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers and setting the stage for the Cold War. The significance of World War II lies in its profound and lasting impacts on global politics, economics, and society. It led to the establishment of the United Nations, aimed at preventing future conflicts on such a scale. The war also prompted significant advancements in technology and warfare, including radar, jet engines, and atomic energy. Economically, it accelerated industrial growth and shifts in labor markets, particularly for women, who took on roles traditionally held by men. Specific examples of the war's impact include the Marshall Plan, which was vital for rebuilding Western Europe and stabilizing its economies after the devastation. Another example is the Nuremberg trials, which set a precedent for international law and accountability for war crimes. Opinions supporting the importance of World War II emphasize its role in inspiring movements for decolonization, civil rights, and restructuring global governance. The war's outcomes pushed countries to reconsider national and international policies, prioritizing cooperation and collective security. However, challenges and controversies associated with World War II include debates over the ethical implications of nuclear weapons use, as seen in the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There are also differing perspectives on the war's justifications and long-term consequences, such as the division of Korea and the enduring rivalries in the Middle East. This aspect of global conflict connects to broader discussions about the causes and consequences of war. Understanding World War II helps explain current geopolitical tensions and the need for effective conflict resolution strategies. It influences military strategies, diplomatic relations, and efforts towards global peace and stability, reminding us of the complex interplay between war and peace in shaping world history.